All right, good people. So we need to talk. 23 is back, and joining me today, I have magical AF, magical as fuck, and the host Miss Lucky. How are you doing, Lucky?
I'm doing good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for
See, I'm,
joining
I'm
me.
mommying. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad we were able to do it and have the stars align for us.
Yeah,
This is like my first non people that I know interview, and that's kind of like kismet. So I appreciate you having me on.
I, well, I'm glad I get to be, one of the first to interview you.
Yay!
So let's start here before we dive into to the big topic. First off, again, I'm your host Ringold. Um, so magical as fuck. How did you come up with the name for the podcast, and what was your basis for starting your podcast?
Well, I came up with the name because I feel like we are all mythical beings and we all have like secret human powers. When I say we, I mean people of Hue. And I'm not downgrading anyone else. I'm kind of uplifting my people at the same time. So respectfully, I know that we all have God in us. So to me, that's like mystique. That's something that's mythical. We can't really see it or uh, feel it, but no, actually, we can feel it. We can't really see it all the time, but we can identify it in one another. So yeah, we're all magical beings. And the basis for the show was more so because I know a lot of people doing a lot of different beautiful things, from artists to producers, creative directors, models, fashion designers, radio hosts, entrepreneurs, real estate agents, business owners. I know so many people doing so many different things, and we highlight the bad so much. I want to kind of highlight the good and the things that we are doing, and to kind of bring back the good morals that we used to have back in the day, slightly with the new twist, but also still keeping it on that same level and energy, because that's when we were at our highest. At least for me, that's when we were all doing different things, and from carpentry to, to owning land, and being in agriculture and having our own schools. We still have all of those things tapped in. So uh, that was my being behind it. I just want to kind of showcase that and put it on a grand scale. And it's bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the that's the gist behind it. But the show started out a little different though. So we'll get into that later.
Well, that's exactly where I was getting ready to go. So well, first off, let's go here. How long have you been podcasting?
I'm 6 seasons, so I've been doing it about 3 years. I do 2 seasons a year, and usually it's around the time of spring and the time of fall. And it's never really intentional, but that's like my most creative time. You know what I'm saying? That's my new year, those times of the year, when you're growing and shedding at the same time, which I didn't realize that until I started counting my seasons and saying, oh, wow, I'm 6 seasons in. And I noticed I'm doing it around these times. So, okay, I'm going to stick with that. I had a natural flow. But yeah, so 6 years, 6 seasons, 3 years, just about.
Okay. So what has been some of your challenges, either when you first got into
Mhm.
podcasting or, even now where you are? What has been your challenges?
Um, my challenge is always growth. And I say that because growth is something that is not comfortable. It puts you in a state where you kind of have to address some things and do the work within. And
Hmm.
it forced me to tap in. Um, I communicating with people directly has been like through a screen, because I
Okay.
am such an in-person person. I'm such an in-person person, and making that connection and trying to figure out who I'm talking to, who is listening to me,
Okay.
who is engaging, because I always say your people will find you, right? But I didn't know who my people were, and
Okay.
that was hard for me. So trying to figure out what they wanted to hear from me, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to tap into me. and tap into, what would I want to hear? What do I feel like would be good for the people, or things that they may not know? Because sometimes people don't know what they want to hear either
Yeah.
until they hear it, and they're like, "Oh wow, that's perspective," So also just trying to stay in my own, create my own lane more so. On that kind of scale too. So that was difficult figuring out what my voice was. And through the seasons, through the seasons, you'll notice the growth. You'll notice the growth. Um, and believe it or not, my first and my last season are probably like my most popular. My current one that I'm in right now are
Okay.
like my most listened to. Um, so it's like my start and my ending, But those are my challenges: tapping into my creativity, figuring out how to connect, and just also trying to embody me, but not, and still being transparent, and not being so closed off to everyone else too. If that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
Yeah. And
I'm a little
that's
nervous, so just excuse me.
no, no. No, that's fine. No, and it's interesting that you say that because I'm the exact opposite. I'm not an in-person person. And doing the podcast has actually been great therapy for me because I'm more of an introvert. And at least when I started the
Okay.
podcast, I was really, really shy. And if people listen to like, I want to say the first five, six episodes, it's like
Hmm.
pulling teeth. I'm talking, but I'm not looking at the camera and things like that. So the Zoom and doing, the pandemic helped me kind of.
Yeah, it kind of, yeah, it helped. It definitely helped. So, I mean, outside, okay, so what were some of your challenges outside of, that you're more of an introvert type of person, like reaching out to people? That's something major, because I would have never known that, you weren't an in-person person, because you seem very personable.
And people get that once they get to know me, but I think some of my challenges were just figuring out who who I was as far as a podcaster because I had no intentions on doing a
Hmm.
podcast. Um, I'm a playwright, so I write a lot of plays and stuff. So when the pandemic happened, I had all of these things running through my head, and it was just like I have to find a way to get it out. Then the George
Hmm.
Floyd murder happened, and it just, my mind was all over the
It
place.
sparked.
Yeah, so I had to
Hmm.
find a way to get it out. And, one of my cousins or one of my friends said, you should do, not, they didn't call it a podcast. They said you should do a Zoom meeting. So I started out doing a Zoom meeting, just checking up on friends and family throughout the country. And as we did, I think 3 weeks in a row, somebody was like, you should do a podcast. I had no clue what I was doing. In the beginning, I have episodes that are 2.5 hours long. Because I really didn't know what I was doing. I would just hit record and
Yeah, you were finding your way, and I think we all kind of did that in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
We all kind of did that.
and,
So that's
and
beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
no, and then
Respectfully.
yeah, I mean, I think that was my main challenge, and then like you said, finding my lane in
Hmm.
podcasting because at first it was just I want to talk about things to help people, and then once I actually started researching and getting into podcasting, that's a
Hmm.
broad stroke right there to say I just
That's
want
a
to
broad
help
thing.
people.
Hmm.
So then it was just like, okay, I have to narrow it down. And then what I started to learn as I went along was just like, okay, I can talk to people doing this freestyle format because I would write questions down and then I would find myself looking
Hmm.
down at the notes and things instead of looking up at the screen and talking to the people. So once I
Hmm.
kind of found my lane and things, I just went with it in the freestyle format, like you said, interviewing different podcasters. And then for the longest, I stayed away from music because I told
Yeah.
myself I didn't want to be that typical black podcast. I didn't want to do sports. I didn't want to do music. And then I
Right.
slowly started integrating music and sports here and there I think once I established myself is when I
Right. Right. Because once you know how to kind of bring it in full circle to and relate it more to you, because I bring in music that relates or that I connect with.
okay.
But that's not something that I'm going to react on all the time. So I definitely understand what you mean by that. That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's
and
what's
then
up. I learned as tricks as, oh, I'm sorry.
oh no, no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say I learned a little bit of technique when it came to like writing. I have to write now. Like I have
Mhm.
to write down what I want to talk about, write it down on paper. I may not do it um like verbatim, but something about putting pen to paper
Yeah.
permeates it in my mind.
Hmm.
So then I'm not like so much reading. And I'm also on another podcast, and that podcast is called Illustrate Radio, and it's produced. And he sends us a script and everything. And what I started doing was before the show, or even while I'm at work, I just kind of go over it and read it, and just get my feel on it. And I do that about twice,
Hmm.
and then 10 minutes before the show I'll do the same thing again. So I'm not really so much you can tell when I don't read the script because I'm definitely going to be looking down at the screen, and you can also tell when I know it off the top of my head when I actually did read it.
Hmm.
So maybe try doing that too, because I didn't know that either. I would literally write down exactly what I wanted to say and try to
Yeah.
rehearse that,
Uh-huh.
and then realize that I skipped over some stuff or I missed something, or that's not what I was really feeling at the time, or that's not how I would, verbalize it much, versus writing it. So, yeah, just a little, tip for you too. That's all.
Hey,
I don't have nothing else.
I accept all feedback and critiques. I know I still
Yeah,
need it. I'm still growing and learning, so my skin
yeah,
is
me
not that
too.
thin.
I
My
need it
skin is
too.
not that thin to where I can't, accept some, criticism or feedback that'll help me progress in doing this.
Okay, cool, cool.
So I will
I'm with
definitely.
it too. I take it. I take it as well. I take it as well. So if you ever listen and you want to comment, you can send me your comments. I can literally get your voice notes if you on Spotify and Anchor. I can get your voice notes if you send
Okay.
one. So definitely check it out.
So I will definitely say this is to go back to where you said, me being personable. I learned that I had to be in order to get different guests. Because what I kind of did during this season was I'm trying my best to stay away from bringing on the people that I had last season, and bring or not relying on them so much to, fill episodes and things like that. Because for your podcast, are you do you do mainly solo podcasts or do you have a lot of guests on? What is your
So on Illustrate Radio, we have a lot of guests, and we have a co-host as well. But on my podcast, I don't. However, initially when I started, I had guests. And to be honest, that's why I feel like that's probably my most listened to season, because it was way more interactive. Um, and what happened was I found myself having moments and sparks of creativity and wanting to just record. So I was recording in my car. This last season is recorded with the microphone in my house. It's more
Mhm.
structured and everything like that. But I would just get passionate about something and be like, boom, I'm just going to record, because those are some of my best topics. It's when I'm not thinking so much into it and I'm more so just going with fluidity and feeling.
Mhm.
Um, so when I started doing that, that pretty much helped out a lot. And I just wanted to do the solo thing, but now I want to get back to being more so visual. I
Okay.
was just it's just voice, and at first I started my first season started off with doing actual visual
Okay.
on YouTube too, and I just want to make sure that I'm going to do it. So I had to invest in my mic, get a mixer, do the proper lighting. I want to do my background, make sure that's all good to go. It's just the level at where I want to take it.
Mhm.
And so I'm not ready for the visual part yet, but I'm definitely going to bring more guests on, like starting my next season starts. I'm going to start recording in April again. So yeah, this was going to be coming to an end. I have two more episodes left on it, and yeah, so I'm definitely going to have more guests on, but it's mostly solo. But I want more guests. It's just my creativity is very fluid, and I'm a Gemini. As you can see, my thoughts are always all over the place. I kind of forgot the question and I had to like, okay, what did he ask? All right, solo, not talk. Okay, all right, cool.
Hey, no, this is a judgment-free zone, so please feel free to, if you need me to repeat,
Good.
hey, I'll repeat the question.
Mm-mm.
But I
Cool.
will say this: I give all credit when it's due to you all that do solo episodes. I think I posted
Hmm.
something. I believe it was yesterday where I said I want to try and do a solo episode because I'm just
Hmm.
like, but my issue is sitting here and talking to myself. I know I have people saying, no, no, you structure it out and all these different things. Like my guy, Uncle Dolomite from Too Much Game podcast, he always says that. He's like, he's like, you structure it out. He's giving me tips on how to do a solo episode, but I'm just like, I don't know if I could do it.
You know how you can try though? There are a lot of different apps like Hitch. I think, hold on,
Hmm.
wait, is that what it's called? Let me look it up. Um, no, Riff. There's Riff,
Hmm.
and Riff is one that's like interactive too. And
Okay.
then there's Twitch. Twitch actually will
Yeah.
bring in your YouTube. It'll stream your Facebook. It'll stream your YouTube all at the same time, and you can watch the feedback as people log in live. On Riff, you can set your shows,
Hmm.
set the times of your shows. I'm just going to start getting into it myself. That's why I said when I do it, I want to come out all the way, no, on every platform,
Yeah.
all streamed in one area where I can interact with people at the same time because I like to go live from my podcast page more
Okay.
so because it's more interactive because I can connect with people, um, which also helps drive my episodes. So you can
Hmm.
do that too, and I will ask a question, I will get feedback, and then I'll do my research on the feedback that I got and address those questions on, the episode, like the one that I'm doing right now. So, yeah, you can do stuff like that too to help kind of do it both. Because I don't just like sit and be like, oh, I'm gonna talk about this or what I want to talk about my show, and I'm just gonna talk about it. No, it could come to me. It could come to me out of the sky through a song. I had a dream last night. It could be anything, and I'll just jot it down. I have a journal now, and I would say do that. Walk around with a pen and paper, and that'll help you structure your show. Allow the universe to kind of like guide your steps in that, because when I had to force myself to think and to be creative, I was blocked. I couldn't. It would not come out because that's not my natural flow. I like flow. Um,
Yeah.
and finding your flow is very important. You know what I'm saying? I talked about that too in a previous episode as well. So, got to find your flow.
Most definitely, most definitely. And before we transition into the next part, I have to give a big kudos or shout out to my cousin Natty Wait. He's the one that actually, I want to say indirect. Well, he's the one that connected me to you because what we're about to get
Oh,
into.
really? I gotta see.
He
I think I
the
did see
the
that.
post that you did. What was that? Thursday with
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't. And yeah, it probably was Thursday. 'Cause I didn't make a post in like 2 days because I was so taken back by Sierra,
yes,
the young lady who was murdered. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So actually, he tagged me in it, and that's how. And then when I responded to your post, and and you responded back and forth, your I'm going to get into more of what we're talking about. I know the guests may be trying to figure out
Okay.
what the hell we're talking about, but your just seeing your raw and natural reaction to that, it was just like, you know what? Let me see if I can get around the show because I honestly I like that. I want that, that real and that authentic feel that you gave
Thank
in that
you.
post. So for everyone that doesn't know or doesn't know what we're talking about, there was a young lady killed in DC, and I usually don't take notes, but I said because you're coming on, I said let me do my. I don't know if you can see it. Let me do my
Oh,
research,
thank you.
get my stuff together, so I'm serious about
Thank you,
this.
because you made the moment a little lighter because I was like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Okay,
But yeah,
I'm
no,
not
but
gonna
I
cry.
did I sat there and I did my research because I even said in the post when I responded to you that I wanted to look in to see what was happening because I didn't know about that until y'all saw your post. So just to bring the people into what we're talking about, so there's a young lady killed, Sierra Johnson, was shot 6 times while sitting in a vehicle with her well, sitting in a vehicle with her 2 kids, and she was 4 months pregnant. Okay,
Hmm.
that's one, and it's crazy that within the last, I want to say 3 months, you've had three similar incidents and
In
one
that
is,
same vicinity,
yeah,
a couple of blocks
all
from each
in,
other.
yeah, all in Northeast DC. Deshaun
Hmm.
Cupid, a female, 30 years old, sitting in her car near Benning Road with her two children, shot and killed in her car also. And then we had
Hmm.
Cedric Miller, 42, walking down the
He was
street,
walking with his two. Hmm.
holding an infant in his arms and holding his 5 year old. I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, but holding a 5 year old's hand. That person, ran up and killed him also while he's with his kids. And out of these three, one happened on March 10th, January 20th, and March 5th. And out of the three, only one suspect has been arrested and charged with second-degree murder. And
Mm,
I forgot to say trigger warning, but I didn't.
yeah,
It's just really, really touchy, a real touchy
but
subject.
we have to touch it. But
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have to
but
touch it.
we have to because it's like I'm a father. I have three boys, and it's just shitty. It's just like where it sounds weird to say, but where has the bad guys, criminals, whatever you want to call them, where have their morals gone to where you see a woman or you see anybody with their kids and whatever the issue is. I don't know if these people did anything or what they did, but where the criminals' morals gone to where you can't wait till you see them or catch them by themselves to take care of whatever
Take
the
care of that.
discrepancy is you want to do it
And
while
that just goes to and that just goes to show you, if we're wondering that the level of sanity is not there,
Mhm,
and it's multiple reasons, sociological, economical, psychological, medically wise. There, there's a whole era that we were plagued by that we're still having PTSD from. You know what I'm saying? And although people say, okay, we got to stop saying it, we haven't healed from it.
mhm,
It's not the things that are being put into the air, the things that we're breathing in, the music that we're listening to. It's just so many different levels as to why. The images that we're constantly seeing has this is the reason why I wanted to start the show. It's because I don't watch the news.
mhm.
When I catch it, like I caught that story. I'm literally in the house. Just walked in. I was like, all right, let me put my whatever. And my sister has the news on. And next thing you know, that's all I hear is what? 20. I was so when I mean that was my raw emotion. Like I took a picture of it because I was stuck for a second. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I was just like, no. I'm fucking I'm sorry. I should I
No,
don't
no,
know if I
no,
could
you can
curse, but
curse. No, no, you
I
can
was
curse. Go ahead.
I was livid. I was livid. I was livid. And that it took me back. It just anyway, I just knew that this is something that we have to talk about. You know, we have to figure out what it is. How can we what are things that we can do internally and externally? Because
Mhm,
the work has to be done. And we're so broken. And I don't want to point fingers anymore because pointing fingers, all it does is put us in a constant circle. Like if we keep trying to figure out what are they thinking, okay, we know what it is. We know that there's multiple issues of what it is. We have to figure out little by little how can we attack these things? How can we neutralize ourselves to also say, you know what, maybe if I drink some chlorophyll or I take sea moss, if I'm reading these different books, if I meditate in the morning, if I show gratitude when I get up, if I take a vow to say, you know what, I'm not going to kill my fellow Nubian or Moorish person at all. Like,
mhm.
no matter what, even no matter what the situation is, if I can make these small vows to take big steps to say, I'm going to look out. I'm not just going to see my fellow person or my fellow
Mhm.
human suffering and not try to help if I can. Now I know if I have things going on, okay, I don't have time to focus, but maybe we need to take the time to stop doing this so much. Stop doing this so
Yeah.
much and start doing this. and start doing this and, and start really looking at each other and giving real eye contact and connecting with one another and say, you know what, you are loved, you are appreciated, you are worth it. You know, manifesting these things, meditating on these things, feeling that in your bone and literally telling yourself and exuding that every day will make a bigger difference,
Mm-hmm.
because those are things we can do and change right now. What can we do right now? What small steps can we take right now to better ourselves at this point? You know what? I'm not going to argue with this female. That's my baby mother. I know she toxic. Well, that's
Yeah.
my baby father. I know he toxic, but I also know he needs help. He needs healing. So let me try to have a little bit more understanding. Let me not match fire with fire in that. Let me show my kids that this is what you do, even when somebody is maybe not really for you, but this is how you can still love on a person from nosebleeds or from the stands or from front row. I'm going to show you how to show people love on every single level. I'm not going to show you anything else. You know what I'm saying? But if I can show you how to love people at certain standpoints, because not everybody's supposed to be on your inner, you got to protect your peace and your bubble. But
Mm-hmm.
let me display that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like holding the door, those simple little things, yo, they make a hell of a difference. They make a hell of a difference. And I had to kind of give myself a break from social media. I was responding to everyone because it was so many comments, so much interactive under that post, and I appreciate all of it. But I was really taken back because that could literally be me. I'm in Northeast Nova, like with my kids all the time, and you know what I'm saying? It's crazy, and I was like, you know what? I had to say, Keisha, thank you for having fulfilling. Thank you for being able to feel. Um, wish her and her family. Try to wish them some peace because these are the things that I can do. Like focus on what I can do and love on your kids even harder. Show them things that give them perspective as well. Um, but man, that shit took me back. It took me back.
Yeah.
It took me really
It's
back.
I mean, it's just like you said. It's very small things that we can do to help each other out. And the sad thing is where we are now as a community is no one trusts each other. I'm guilty of that.
I was about to say so much divisiveness.
Yeah, we're all no one trusts each
Hmm.
other, and the smallest thing is just. And I find and I know I do this at times. I'm man enough to admit that, if somebody I don't know speaks to me, it puts me on guard, and it's just like, why are they talking to me? And it could be
Yeah,
the simple things, and it's just that I think it's the news and our social media and all of the horrible
it
shit
makes
that
you
we see.
guarded. It does. It does.
And it sucks because the smallest thing, like you said, a simple good morning, hello,
Hello.
and those little steps there mean so much because we don't know what this man or this woman, these children, what they're going through at home. They may not ever
Mhm.
hear "I love you." They may not ever hear "hello," "goodbye," "good night," "see
Mhm.
you tomorrow,"
Mhm. Mhm.
and they're small
How are
little
you
words.
doing? And really waiting for a response. When I ask, I don't just walk past a person. They be like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And I'll stop. "Oh, I'm doing well." And I'll look you in your eye, and
Hmm.
I'm gonna ask you how you're doing. I'm not one of the people where you could just like, if you say how you're doing, I'm gonna get your attention. Because don't ask me how I'm doing, and you really don't care. You
Yeah,
need to
and
care. You gonna care today.
that's the thing.
Talking to your neighbor, going to those community meetings, showing up to your kids' school PTA so
Yeah.
you can figure out what they teach in your school, where's the money going, and stuff like that. Demanding that your communities have playgrounds in the neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying, to give them kids something. Yeah, we like trails. Yeah, we like tennis courts and little playhouses with workout machines. That's cool. But you're living in a multifamily community. Why is there no playgrounds with proper equipment for the kids?
Hmm.
They need to, because you learn a lot of skills on the playground. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? If we're really building the future, we have to care about those things. The playground taught you grit.
Yeah.
It taught you how to keep trying to fall. You fall down, get back up. Somebody mess with you, you got to defend. It teaches you a lot of life skills.
Hmm.
And also even hand coordination and feet coordination. those little things have great impacts. I know I'm going into like really grave detail, but
Oh
showing up
no,
for your community,
you're good. No,
like showing up for your
you go
community,
where
like
you
talking to your,
need to
you know,
go. You go where
I'm just saying,
you
trusting
need
your
to go.
neighbors is where it starts.
Yeah,
You know,
because
I'm just saying, trusting your neighbors is where it starts.
and it's crazy because I'm
Trying
like I
to
said,
connect.
I'm one of those people. I mean, I know I had a job because I'm in the DMV also, but I had a job working
Hmm.
downtown DC and doing my SF-85. They were asking me about my neighbors, and I lived in this place when I was lived in Virginia. I lived there for 5 years. I couldn't tell them anything about my neighbors, and they were like, "You lived there for 5 years and you don't know your neighbors?" No, I told them, and that this may just be ignorance on my part, but I told them, I said,
No.
I'm from New Jersey. I'm like, I'm from up north. I'm like, if we didn't grow up together and different things like that, I don't really socialize with my neighbors and things like that. So like you said, getting to know your neighbors, you know, different people in your community and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That's where it all starts. And even, circling back to the three people that we lost, and thank God we didn't lose. And it's crazy. None of the kids were injured in any of these incidents, which is a blessing, huge blessing that none of the kids were injured.
Yeah.
But
Mine is the one she lost.
yeah, minus the four. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
4 months pregnant. So minus
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
the baby.
But
And
yeah, but the babies were good. The babies didn't suffer any injuries, my physically, but internally, that's all I was thinking about. How do you bring any child? I didn't see one murder, but I heard a murder, and then I saw the body, but I didn't see the actual situation happen.
mhm,
And that stayed in my mind.
yeah,
I didn't even see it. You know what I'm saying? But I saw the trail. I remember his face. I know his name and everything with that story. As a child, I can remember falling off a bike at 4 years old and scraping my knee with a scar. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
How you can never forget that.
never.
How did and the whole situation, the whole situation, even the whoever pulled the trigger, how do you we have to heal from that. Those kids are just that's a permanent scar. That's a
Yeah.
permanent scar. Mm.
And and it's not to show empathy, sympathies necessarily for the person that committed the act. But what I think a lot of people fail to realize is that when I don't care, you could be the biggest gangster in the world. Once you pull that trigger and you kill somebody, that sticks with you for forever. The same way these kids are gonna be scarred, the person that pulled
Yeah,
the
yeah.
trigger, they they're gonna go through something that's gonna eat away at them for the rest of their
They
life.
need reform too. They need help as well. I don't believe in so I have a bird and my bird it was two of them. One passed away. So Chico's just in the cage. We used to clip his wings and I feel bad after a while. Like you're clipping a bird's wings, they're supposed to fly, right?
Mhm.
So we would one day I was like, I'm just gonna let him out. Try to let him out. He went right up to the little the curtain, stood there. And when he was ready to get something to eat, he went right back in. He didn't want to go outside. You can leave the front door open. My man is not going outside. His mind is mentally trapped and mentally warped. He would need real help and therapy to be able to feel free enough to go outside,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So when I thought about my bird in this perspective, I'm saying these are what we doing. We're doing this to human beings.
Mhm.
We're locking them up in cages for years on end, letting them out as well with no reform, wondering why they come back out, either committing some, I'm not saying all, some come back out committing or doing things far worse or even not worse, still being petty, doing whatever, they go back in.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're out here terrorizing the streets or their families because mentally their mind is warped.
Mm-hmm.
They're trapped without no reform, no real therapy, no real saying, you know what, once you get out, these are the things that we're going to help put into play. You spend all this money on the prison, but you don't spend any money or any value in the people that you're putting in there.
Yeah.
They're not learning shit.
Mm-hmm.
So there are so many different spectrums and things we have to look at overall when when a life is being taken. Because the person who did it, like you said, and the person who is no longer who we have to feel now in spirit, it's not a it's there is no right or wrong in that. It's a loss.
Mm-hmm.
There's no win or lose. I don't need to point the finger at you because the person you just shot can't point the finger back.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. And it's just, I mean,
And we just gonna go in circles.
yeah,
I'm
because
not gonna say free them though.
no,
I do
no.
believe they need to be. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that. I do believe that, I am eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I am that, you know what I'm saying? But I also believe that it needs to be a mental reform their system as well. But okay, I'm gonna breathe.
No. Well, all right, then we'll lighten it up. I just had to touch on that, um, and for anybody that wants to, see anything with any of these three, um, Cedric Miller, Sierra Johnson, or Deshaun Cupid, all of the information, anything that I just read, I got from WTOP.com. So,
Hmm.
you can go there, you can find information on all three, cases and what's going on with it. Um, yeah, that was real. That was heavy, but like I said, it's a conversation that we need to have.
We
So
need to
it's
have. We need to have. Can I
yes,
ask you a question though?
yes.
How is it? I don't know what it's like to be a black man. I can. I don't even like to say color. I'm gonna say Nubian man. What
Hmm.
is it like? Like, what are your thoughts when you get up on your day to day? You have three boys,
Hmm.
and you're a man yourself. What are your daily thoughts?
Um, honestly, for me, it's my, and I know, they say you pray for what you want, meditate, whatever, your choice of early morning therapy or releases. For me,
Hmm.
I honestly, I just pray that my boys, make it to school and make it back home safely. Because for me, and when I do my prayer, meditation, and anything, I always save myself for last. Because my most important thing for me, kind of like what the reason behind me starting the podcast and stuff was, I always told my sons that and my wife that I'll always protect them and be there for them. And then just watching what happened with George Floyd kind of sent me into, I want to say, a bit of a tailspin as far as, like, I'm not a hype person. A lot
It
of
puts you in bear mode. Like I'm gonna go. I want to go in protective dad mode.
yeah, and that's the thing is that because at that moment, that was the first time I can honestly say in my life that I felt like I really lied to my kids, because it's just like I told
Hmm.
them that I would always protect them, and just seeing how you have the two incidents in, the incidents in Chicago with the, the cops shooting the guy. I want to say
To me,
Laquan,
right?
Tamir Rice, and all of these different
Hmm.
things. It's just like, if I'm telling my sons that I can protect them, and the minute they walk out the door, everything that, my wife and I have taught them and different things like that, all of that shit goes out the window, because you have our people killing us, you have the police killing
Hmm.
us. So everything that I'm
Hmm.
teaching them goes out the window, because it's up to whoever's out there that wants to commit whatever crime. So for me, honestly, it's it's tough because every time you hear something, a school shooting or anything like that, it's just like, oh shit, you know, I, you hate to be selfish. You want all the kids to be okay, but immediately it's like, I hope my kids are okay.
Kids are okay. Hmm.
And it just so, and then for me personally, it's just, I hope I don't catch the cop that's having a bad day. I'm driving to work and,
Mm,
you know, you get a cop that wants to be petty. You get a cop that's just having, may have had a fight with his wife or his child on his way out the door. And instead of decompressing or whatever they need to do, they just jump in their cruiser and they're right out on the street. And then it's not just the cops. You have, especially down here, Virginia. You know, you can open carry all that different shit. You don't know what people have in their cars. So that's my thing. Is just like I hope I don't run across that vigilante or that angry or petty or
mm.
pissed off cop. Because my goal, like I said, is I want to go before my kids, but I don't want somebody to help me go before my kids.
Right, right, right. I just wanted to because I feel like women, we don't really, we say protect that man, like,
Hmm.
oh, protect that man, like he need to. And 19 Keys, he it's funny because he made a post about it, and I talked about this on my podcast, and I'm like, we say it, but we don't really do it. We don't
Hmm.
really ask, how's your day? What are your thoughts? What do you feel when you go outside? How do you feel when you wake up? And actually really care, you know?
Hmm.
Um, and to hear that, because I always want to make sure that men realize you're worth it, your feelings matter,
Hmm.
how your thoughts and opinions matter. Because to be honest, moms, we think about the same things.
Yeah.
And I say that as well to kind of bring us in relation to each other, because we're so at odds, and oh, black men ain't this, blah, blah, that, women ain't shit, nah, 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 nah. And I hate that. So because I hate that, I lead with love in it, right?
Hmm.
And try to bring us closer together, because we feel it, we feel the same things. And well, when it comes to our children and the safety of our family,
Hmm.
um, and to hear that you say, I felt like I lied to like, we need to hear those things,
Yeah.
you know, um, come from a man of your caliber.
Hmm.
So it just brings everything closer together. That's all. I just like to bring men and women closer together.
Yeah.
I just feel
Because I
like we at
mean,
odds all the time.
part of that I believe is, you know, people stop believing in social media so much. The metaverse, all that bullshit is exactly what it is. It's entertainment. People need to stop, you know, treating social media, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all that shit. Stop treating it like it's everything you see on there is 100%. They're only gonna show you the good shit. There's no in between. They show you good shit and bad shit. All of the normal shit in
Uh,
between doesn't get the
it doesn't
attention
get
that
posted.
it needs. Yeah.
And this is why I like posting the reactions that I post, because I feel like we love to swipe. We love to post how cute we look every day, memes, because I do it too. But I like to do it with purpose. So when I
Yeah.
make those posts, I want you to read the text. I want you to read what's on it. I want it to spark something in your brain as well. Since we all gonna be here, we might as well make it a learning experience.
Hmm.
But I'm tired of seeing the thotty body behavior, because I feel like everyone's that's all they doing. You know, I'm tired of seeing the back and forth and the negative and people fighting and we posting all of it. I'm tired of seeing all that. So because I'm tired of seeing it, be the change you want to see. So
Yeah.
we
Exactly.
need to, if you're going to be on there, I feel like you got to be on there with a purpose, and we got to stop making it popular doing this stupid shit. We have to really repost somebody and be like, this is dumb, and at you in it, or like, why are you naked? Or DM you and be like, you look so good with, you look so good with full clothes on. Oh my God, your body is so bad with this full sweatsuit on. Like, do stuff like that and stop telling these women being naked and wearing lingerie in public because y'all making it hard for people who want to wear that for their husbands. Like, dang, we don't want him to be seeing that on the internet. Goodness, can you wear it for your husband? We don't want to see it. So
It's
even like
oversaturated.
changing those morals and bringing those things back, like having privacy. It's okay to have privacy, and it's also okay. You don't have to post everything. I don't believe that post what you want to post, right? But
Hmm.
make it conducive. Like
Yeah.
post with a purpose.
I don't. A
I'm
lot of
sorry.
people they don't know what their purpose is. They just don't know what their purpose is. They think that posting their bodies, posting all of the negative shit, and they really believe that that's their purpose. And it's just like you said, no,
No,
there's
because
more
because it's
to it.
popular.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's why I don't. I
People
mean,
like and click.
click real quick. And for me, that's why I have a love hate relationship with social media. I
Hmm.
understand for what we do, social media is our friend. But I don't,
Hmm.
for me, it's just like I'm on there. I have TikTok, I have Instagram, I have Facebook. I don't like Twitter. So it's just, I'm on the platforms, but I don't use it as much as I should. Because people, they'll look at it and go, you should have more followers. And, well, not on my new page. My other page got hacked. That's why my followers look as crazy as it does with only 200 and something
Look,
followers. But
I appreciate all the love. Like when you took the time out to reach out, I definitely took the time out to respond.
yes,
Um, because that's what I want to have these conversations. I really want to spark change. I'm not just going to sit there and talk about it and not actually do it
mhm,
because that's what social media is for. We're going to socialize on social media. Your net worth, your network is your net worth.
yes.
So, yeah, let's grow together. I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm with it. I'm definitely going to have you on both of our shows too, for
Oh,
sure. So,
I'm
to
here for
to
it.
go ahead. Yep, and we gonna have those conversations because this is healing, you know. And we got accountability and know that people like, oh, well, I don't have anything to do with the next person. I'm only responsible for me. No, stop saying that. You are responsible for your fellow brother or sister. And if we started doing that more,
Hmm.
right, we would have a lot less of what we got going on
Oh yeah.
because then they wouldn't feel so alone. They wouldn't feel like I don't have anybody to talk to. I can't turn to anyone. Nobody won't give me opportunity. None of that. We got to take back our neighborhoods, take back our children,
Yeah.
take their minds back. Okay, because their minds in this music, and then also I just believe in balance because we had NWA,
Hmm.
all the a whole West Side, South Side, Scarface, all we had all of them, but they was talking some real shit too,
Yeah.
along with the fuckery, right?
Hmm.
It's balance. You know what I'm saying? I believe in having a little bit of balance. But all this music that they talk about, it's just all death. They're not hearing anything about life.
Nothing.
And what they are hearing about life is leading to death. It's like, oh, you got all this money, have sex with all these girls. Like they talk that's not healthy. You know what I'm saying? And hustling is not everything. Being a football, basketball player is not the only thing that would make income. But
Nope.
that's all I can see. And that's all they want to do is grow up to be those things. There's nothing wrong with being an athlete at all. Don't get me wrong. But we are so tapped in. We have so many other things. This you could just do anything, but that's not what our children are seeing. So let's show them that. Let's change the narrative. Like
We
literally.
need the adults, and I'll say this before
We
I
need
jump
the
out.
adults to adult.
Yes, they need to, because a lot of people, like you said, oh, that, that's not my child, that's not my business, and all this other shit. I think I don't want to say slap in the face, but the reality check for a lot of adults should be, you can keep ignoring that child all you want, whether it's your child or the child outside your house, whatever. This is the generation that's gonna have to take care of us, and that's the part that I think a lot of people don't look at or think about is, you could keep ignoring these kids, but when we're in our 70s, 80s, nursing home, whatever the case may be, this is the generation that's going to have to take care of us.
this is the generation. That's what y'all want. Cause I know, like, I know what I'm
No.
doing in the household and what we doing in these neighborhoods. This is what I want. I be loving on my babies, even if they call me and curse me out and all these type of things. I'm like, you know what? Because I have understanding. I don't never get fire back with fire. I mean, I try not to. I have my moments. I'm working on it. I'm working on totally mastering all emotions. Sometimes I do pop off. Okay, sometimes. Um, but I try to. If we really actively take that vow to say, I'm going to think glass half full, and I'm really love. Like I love on my babies. I don't care what you say to me. I love on my people. You can curse me out. Just whatever you want to say. If it don't make sense, I'm gonna say something. Like the lady at the gas pump parked 7 feet away from the gas pump. No one wanted to say anything to her, but everyone's just sitting there waiting, honking their horn. That's all I politely told her. Politely tell someone. Sometimes people are not aware.
Hmm.
Little things like I'm gonna say something. The little boy who kept kicking his mom, baby, your mom is having a conversation. Can you stop that? And I don't even know the kid. They ain't got nothing to do with me. But you think he didn't stop? He sure did. And I kept moseying my way. We gotta be willing to do those things because sometimes we need a little bit of that assistance. Even if you tell me, even if the mother would say, "Mind your fucking business," I'm like, you know what? I still love you though, sis. And we all family. Love is love. And usually when you do that, they be like, "Oh my bad," or you get perspective when you put that fire out. We need to
Hmm.
do that sometime. You know what I'm saying? You might not get it every time, but for the most part, be genuine, and you'll realize that change will eventually. You'll start to see it.
Definitely. So to lighten it back up a little bit. So for as far as podcasting, and I know you said you don't watch the news anymore. My wife actually got me away from the news because I was one of the people that love to watch, not love to watch the news, but I like to know what's going on. So I would watch the news all of the time. But I'm an ID channel junkie, true crime junkie. So I take in a lot of a lot of crazy shit. My wife, as my
Hmm.
wife would say.
I
So I,
watch shows.
yes, but I fell back from the
Mhm.
news a little bit. So what do you do for your for you? I understand you have kids, you have work, all this other stuff, podcasting. What do you do to recharge you?
Ooh. I like to medicinally meditate.
Okay.
I like to plant. Planting a planting has become one of my things, and also I do smoothies and stuff like that. Reading has been something that I picked up too. I try to read at least 15, 20 minutes a day.
Okay.
Showing gratitude to the universe is how I'm recharged. And going out of town, like I'm gonna hold you. I love New York. New York is like where my spirit, where my spirit probably flourishes the most. It's something about just I'm very colorful. I love music. I love to dance. If you look at my posts, a lot of them I'm probably dancing with my daughter or by myself. Um, because those are things that really just make me feel great. Um, and make me feel good. I love trees. I take the scenic routes. So those are all things that I do. And I connect. That's my niece crying downstairs. And I also connect with I connect with people.
Okay.
Like talking to you is I'm sure it's going to spark something for something for something else. Because I believe in intimate connections too. And so everybody I meet, I feel like you can learn something and you can
Yes.
gain perspective from anyone that you meet. Even if you're saying the same thing, it's always something. It's either your verbiage, your tone, the perspective that you had, even if you had the same. Sometimes you can still give me perspective, even if we're relating to one another. So I I just try to make everything like a blessing or a lesson. That's how I look at everything and keep it glass half full. It took a lot to get there because trust me, whew, I mean, I'm a Gemini. I go 0 to 1,000 real quick. But now I know how to neutralize and come in the middle. And
Mhm.
I take my moments because mommy and I'm not like a single mom, but I'm a single day-to-day mom.
Okay.
Yeah, the dad with them, when he can, and I appreciate him for all of that. Um, I know that I need my break,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah.
take it and I plan for it. So I just tell everyone, schedule your mental breaks. And I take the scenic route homes on purpose. It gives me a little extra 15 minutes and I just see green and trees and I'm leveled and I'm in the mid. So now when I come home, I can go all the 50 million mommies and I got to do this and where's dinner and did you iron my uniform and this. I can do all of that and just push through versus I don't give my kids frustration. And if I do, I provide them with understanding, you know,
Mhm.
things are they're watering and connecting with your loved ones. Because sometimes my son will be like, Mom, are you on your period? Why are you acting like that? He puts things in perspective for me. And I'm just like, you know what? Because I made him aware of that. Now, you're right. It might be. Let me look at my calendar. Let me see. Let me see what's going on. And those like having those moments with your kids, they bring everything back full circle. So I do a lot, but loving internally and externally is the main thing. If that sums everything up,
But
because I can
you
talk.
was, and I'll say this before we wrap up. I love the fact that you said you
Mm.
take the scenic route home sometimes, because what people need to understand, stop feeling guilty for needing a break from your kids. You can't if we're on if we're on E,
Mm.
you can't pour nothing into nothing. You gotta
From
we
an
gotta
empty cup.
You got to take a
Mm-mm.
break. So I mean, it don't parent. I feel guilty because of no. You can't
That
feel
is.
guilty. You need a break from your kids. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you get that even
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes, you
It's
pull in.
okay.
Yeah, you pull in the driveway. You don't have to get right out the car. You can take your
Mm.
10 minutes. Listen to your favorite song 2 or 3 times, and then walk in the house. Take that break. You know. So
And then walk in. And sometimes they gonna meet you outside. So what? Keep them windows wind up and be like, I'll be there
lock
in a
the door.
second. Mm-hmm. And lock the door. And
Lock the
do all of
doors.
that.
Let them knock on the window a
Lock the
little bit.
doors. Do not feel guilty.
Never.
That's
So,
that I live by. You cannot, even when your glass is half full, you cannot pour if your cup is running low. You can't
mhm.
do nothing. You have to make sure that you are sound in order to be a sound person for the people that you have responsibilities to, obligations to. Because yes, you are obligated to them children. So
Yes.
you got to make sure that you're good. You know.
Mhm. So I will say
But
this.
thank you for having me on. I appreciate you for
Oh no, no. I was just gonna say. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say this was real cool. Only because
No, you good.
this is cool because we just met. Was it Friday, Thursday, whenever it was, and the conversation was good and genuine. So, like I said, this is my goal. Bring on new people, have these good conversations, and like I said, it was a great conversation. So one, I want to thank you for that post and being so open and honest because that's what drove me to ask, asking you if you would be on the show with me. Two, like I said, being, genuine and, we talking behind the scenes and then coming on and having this great conversation. So I do want to thank you for your time and everything. But before you go,
You're welcome.
oh, I do appreciate it. Like I said, good guests and great guests are really hard to find.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I definitely would love to come back on. I'm thinking we need to do panel discussions. Like bring some other people on.
Oh, I
Let's
do.
do like a whole group conversation. And you're in the area, we could do mixers. I really want to spark some change.
I'm
Like
really.
I want us to be investing together and building playgrounds together and doing those things and being that cleaning our communities together,
Mhm.
bringing the value back in our neighborhoods and ourselves and keeping the dollar within us. Like, yes, I'm excited. I'm glad that I did that post.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
so
yeah.
glad I did that post.
I'm
And I
definitely.
posted it because I was nervous.
Man, don't feel nervous. I'm sure it's you may have given life and a voice to those that probably just sat home, saw the post or saw the story. They may have just went in the room and cried, or sat on the couch wherever they were and cried. You gave them a voice, because them, if they saw the post, and I'll repost it on, in my story so people can see, the raw reaction, because I know people are looking at it talking, what the hell is he talking about? So I'll repost it so that that they can see, and
Thank you.
you spoke for a lot of people. So, but let the
I couldn't even speak, but I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on. You were awesome. You were great. Um, yeah, I'm nervous too, so my nerves kind of
oh
word got
no
messed up. But anyway, yeah, thank you for having me on. I
oh
can't
no
wait to see
let
the
the
show
people
because I don't like watching myself, but I'm definitely gonna
oh yeah, yeah, definitely
let
rewatch
the
it.
people know where to
Let the
find me.
yes.
Oh, okay. Well, you can find me at Magical AF Podcast. And I'm not trying to be funny, but you can literally put it in Google and all of the platforms will come up, from Spotify to Breaker to Apple Podcasts. It's literally everywhere. I'm going to get visuals still right now. I just got to take the voice. But it's Magical AF Podcast also on social media too. Um, I'm on Illustrate Radio, and that's ILLSTR, the number eight radio. Our shows are there on every Wednesday. I'm live there 9 o'clock to 10. And we're on Roku TV on 7 On Demand, which is a black owned channel. And we're definitely going to make sure that we bring you onto that. Okay. Can't wait to get you scheduled.
I'm here for it.
Hopefully within the next 3 weeks.
Okay.
And yeah, y'all can look us up on there. I'm excited. Yay.
So I mean, so like all of the information I'll post in the show notes and things like that, so that they can find you and follow you. If not, just check on my page, and you'll be able to find Miss Lucky on
I'm going
there.
to say link in the bio.
Yeah,
Hmm.
there you go. So again, this is We Need to Talk 23.
Thank you.
Anyone that's looking, looking for me, would like to collab, jump on an episode, would like to have me on their podcast or anything, you can DM me on IG, or you can email me at we need to talk 23pod at gmail.com. And, again, another great episode with another great guest, Miss Lucky from Magical as Fuck Podcast. And this is Ringold, and I'm signing off.